Today, we're diving into something a little bit different but absolutely fascinating. We're actually taking a single ordinary web page scraped from April 23rd, 2026, and treating it like a rich cultural dataset. If you're the kind of person who loves seeing how information flows and how algorithms shape what we learn, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to decode the literal structure of a digital rabbit hole to figure out exactly what it reveals about the audience's mindset at that specific moment in time.
So, what does a single web page actually tell us about our global anxieties? It's a pretty compelling question, right? Because when you click on a video about the economy, you aren't just getting one piece of content. You're stepping into a highly curated ecosystem. A raw list of recommended sidebar titles might look, completely random at first glance. But when we organize it, it acts like a perfect mirror, reflecting our collective macroeconomic fears, our geopolitical curiosities, and honestly, our deep need for distraction.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the viral anchor, how to destroy an economy.
Okay, let's dive into this. We absolutely have to start at the center of our data set. The entire user journey we're looking at stems from one primary anchor, which is a massively successful video by the creator OBF, titled How to Destroy an Economy. Just look at that number, over 1.8 million views. And the craziest part? That massive view count was achieved in just 2 months. I mean, this isn't some celebrity gossip vlog. It's a heavy, analytical piece about catastrophic economic failure. The sheer scale of this number establishes a crucial baseline for us today. There is a huge, hungry audience out there with a profound appetite for content about systemic economic doom.
Which brings us to Section 2, monetizing the content.
So how does a creator actually operate a business built on global anxiety? Well, this perfectly illustrates the modern creator economy at work. The creator Oliver Frank seamlessly blends this heavy, fear-inducing macroeconomic content with highly specific consumer merchandise. It's a truly fascinating juxtaposition. You're sitting there watching an analysis of how a nation's economy crumbles, and right below it, you're offered 20% off posters from Mapped Studios using code OBF and a 10% discount on a Birdie CO2 monitor. Throw in a Patreon link and some Instagram cross-promotion, and it perfectly captures the duality of this space. Existential global crises packaged right alongside highly targeted consumer goods.
Moving right along to Section 3, the economic doom spiral.
Now, let's steer away from the main video and look at the sidebar recommendations. What does the algorithm suggest next to keep viewers hooked? In the raw data, it looks totally disjointed and chaotic, but when we organize it, distinct macro trends instantly emerge. We can neatly categorize them into global collapse, geopolitics, and infrastructure. For global collapse, we're seeing titles like U.S. debt collapse and Egypt is the next economy to fall. Under geopolitics, we've got Western Sahara police state. And for infrastructure, massive, almost unbelievable projects like Egypt floods Sahara or Turkey new Panama Canal. The takeaway here is that the algorithm doesn't just feed you more pure economics. It relentlessly groups financial anxiety with geopolitical instability and massive, disruptive infrastructure changes. It paints this holistic picture of a world in flux.
Let's zoom in on one specific video from that geopolitical cluster to see this in action. Turkey just sold its gold. Here's why that should scare you from the Jay Martin Show. Notice the phrasing there? It uses direct, fear-based language and a manufactured sense of urgency to drive rapid engagement. And boy, does it work. This single video amassed over 673,000 views in just 6 days. It literally proves that within this algorithmic neighborhood, fear and urgency are the primary currencies capturing people's attention.
Now let's transition over to Section 4, the car market crisis. We're seeing this doom spiral build into an entirely different yet massive subtrend dominating this specific algorithmic neighborhood, intense anxiety surrounding the automotive industry. Now, what's really interesting about this is the staggering disparity in the numbers. A video titled BYD, the biggest scam of the car industry, sits at an unbelievable 8.7 million views, achieved in the exact same 2-month timeframe as our original anchor video. To put that in perspective, it visually dwarfs our main Destroy an Economy video. Right alongside it, we have WTF is happening to the car market at 1.6 million views and the overpriced car epidemic at 189K. The algorithm clearly recognizes that viewers who are obsessed with macroeconomic collapse are also deeply, personally stressed out about the microeconomics of buying a car.
And this brings us to a concept we can call algorithmic whiplash. This is that sudden, jarring shift in a recommendation feed from broad macroeconomic disaster content straight down into highly specific personal consumer crises. It explains the logical flow perfectly. The algorithm seamlessly connects the abstract fear of failing national economies to the very tangible, everyday stress of realizing you might be buying an overpriced car. It brings that global dread right down into your driveway.
Which naturally leads us to our final group, Section 5, Escapism and Oddities. Because let's face it, even the most focused learner gets fatigued by constant doom and gloom. The algorithm offers some completely unexpected and sometimes bizarre detours. Here we contrast two very different psychological impulses side by side. On one hand, you have the urge to consume heavy doom content, ruining a country, debt collapse. But right next to it, we see the complete opposite desire, the urge to flee. We see titles like Ranking All EU Countries for Expats and Why Everyone is Leaving New Zealand. It perfectly captures the psychological whiplash of the user journey. The urge to obsess over how the system is breaking down, instantly paired with the fantasy of simply packing up and leaving the system entirely.
To really grasp how chaotic this environment is, check out the chronological proximity of these uploads. Over just a single week in April 2026, the feed is throwing incredibly rapid-fire content at the viewer. 9 days ago, something about animal predators. 6 days ago, Turkey selling its gold. 5 days ago, running away to the EU. This timeline beautifully illustrates how viewer curiosity is constantly being yanked from biology to global finance to personal escapism, all within a matter of days.
And that leads us to the ultimate oddity in this whole dataset. Sitting right next to heavy videos about national debt and broken markets is a video titled Why Do Predators Ignore Sleeping Humans? It's an entirely unrelated biology video, but it absolutely exploded with 1.8 million views in just 9 days. Why on earth is it here? Well, because the algorithm has a brilliant understanding of human distraction and knows exactly when you need a palate cleanser. It figures that after pondering the collapse of global markets, sometimes your brain just wants a fascinating, low-stakes animal fact.
So we've mapped out how a single web page creates a complex journey through fear, consumer anxiety, and escapism. But what about you? The next time you're clicking around online, I want you to take a hard look at what's being suggested. Do your own algorithmic recommendations reflect these exact same economic themes, or are they steering you toward completely different anxieties? Take a moment to analyze your own digital footprint, and you might just be surprised by what you learn about yourself. Thanks for joining me